All right, ladies and gentlemen, back for another episode of the Pivot Podcast. We usually have my co-host Tracy, but we're giving her the day off today, so we had to bring in somebody. He's been with Real Life Trading for a couple months now, and he's in the mentor group currently with me. So I just like your story, man. I like your story of because you're at that point of kind of transitioning into full time trading and things like that. So just based on a lot of people that listen to the Pivot Podcast, I thought you'd be awesome to kind of bring in just to hear a different point of view from somebody that's getting into trading more and more and you're putting the work in. So I definitely want to tackle some of that. But we have the notorious Matt R on with us today. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you did prior to trading and kind of how you got to this point?
Yeah, actually, right now I'm living in Tucson, Arizona, but I just recently moved down to the sunny part of the states, and where I'm coming from is I grew up in the Northwest all my life and wanted some change. And at the same time, I was looking at something to do remote wise and being able to do it anywhere around the country or the world. I used to travel a lot uh, before I had kids and want to get back to doing that since a lot of the restrictions from COVID have lifted. The thing with me is I started out. I was a geophysicist for about 15 years. Had my own consulting business, which meant I was doing a lot of interpretation, looking at charts all day, and making sure and looking at trends. So it had a lot of similarities to the trading aspect that I saw. It's so funny because that company started with me buying 100 shares of Starbucks back in the early 90s, and I used that money to start that company. So it's kind of like almost like full circle now, coming into full trade. Becoming a full-time day trader and trader itself. But after I had my consulting business, I broke my leg almost 11 years ago, and started up my own CrossFit box. CrossFit gym, and that was very successful. Enjoyed the people, and it's interesting. It was really similar to kind of the concept that real life trading is, RLT. So with that, back in just moving to present day, back in October, I started to just kind of dabble a little bit in trading and got into stock tweets and found a Discord group and was doing miserably. Wasn't making any progress, and I didn't see any way I would become a full trader doing it that way. So it was when I finally was given some instruction by one of the guys on the Discord to look at other options for educating myself and getting up to speed on really being a successful trader. I found real life trading, and since February of this year, I've been trading, and it's been really good. And I'll also say that community aspect of it, just the real life aspect of it. I truly believe in what Jeremy has built, and the people that he has attracted, and that's where I'm at. And yeah, I'm planning to stick with it
Yeah,
for a long
I would
time to
think.
come.
Yeah, no, 100%. I would think that. I mean, the community aspect is huge, but it's like because there's obviously and you try Discord groups and other groups, things like that, which some will have some education. I personally like, and maybe I'm biased, but I joined real life trading before being a moderator with real life trading, and what drew me to it is it's the it's not even just about the trading. It's about the personal growth. A lot of people, if you're looking to get in and they're like, yeah, I just want to make $1 million in one trade, that's fine. I mean, that could happen. There's probably possibilities every single day to do that. When you find it, that's a different story, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
and then once you hit that one trade, what do you do from there, right? So it's you have the consistency, and you're looking to grow as a person, be able to give back to communities, be able to really get. I think Steve Harvey actually had a thing where he said, uh, I believe it's a flea has like a 36-inch vertical jump, right?
Oh, wow, yeah.
But if you take a flea and you put it into a glass container or jar of mayonnaise or whatever the case, then he'll for the first couple tries, he'll keep trying to jump the 36 to try to get out, but he keeps on hitting himself against the lid of that jar, right? And then so eventually what he ends up doing after some time, he'll correct his jump and maybe he's only jumping 32 inches, right? So he's falling short of what he actually can do because the lid
Yeah,
is there to restrict him. Then if he has babies inside the jar, those kids come out, all they do is they see the flea that's been there, the parent flea making those jumps. And therefore that's even though they're all capable of a 36-inch vertical leap, they're only going to be doing what they've seen their parents do. So until you really remove the lid from the jar and those fleas find out like, all right, there's not really limitations. You could continue to jump. That like that's how you break a trend. Otherwise, people growing up are just going to do what your parents did, as far as how they made money, and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you want to take it to another level, like you have to remove some of those limitations. So I think personally, the community it definitely helps to remind you every day of like the only real limitations I have in trading or in life or anything is just the ones that have been given to me or that I perceive to be some type of limitation. And I don't think you
right,
find
right.
that with a lot of other companies and groups out there. So getting into the trading aspect, you were a geophysicist. You were looking at trends. What do you think was the
Yeah.
hardest change for you getting into trading, as far as actually tackling the stock market, or what was some of the barriers that you might have been facing?
Well, I guess one of the biggest factors was the FOMO or the head game of trading, and I when I was trading on my own without RLT or without a group, I would see myself getting upset, frustrated, maybe losing some money, but I wasn't risking that much, and I'm still not at that point where I'm risking a lot of money, but it would wear on me, and so the shift coming into RLT, um, a lot of that was removed, and that's where it also is that piece of a beginner mindset that I see with RLT. And I taught that when I was as a CrossFit coach, a beginner mindset. Even if you were an Olympic lifter, or a big, you could lift a lot of weight. You will always want to start with the basics and never really veer from those. I mean, if you were missing some of your heavy weights, let's go back to stripping the weights off and starting from the basics, 1, 2, 3, and I see that with RLT, and I wasn't getting that before that, and I saw that as a limitation. I saw that as something that if I continued with the way I was going, I probably would not stick with it as I have been.
Yeah, learning the charts is one thing. The hidden aspect of trading is like what you said. It's purely emotional, right? If you go from one bad trade, and that's why we have the R system, because you know what you're risking on every single trade, and as long as you're comfortable
Right,
with that R, that helps you get over that mental game of like you know you're not going to make $1 million on the trade, but you also know you're not going to blow up your account on the trade, right? You're going to live to see another day. All trading is a probability game, right? And so all we look to do is give ourselves the highest probability of a successful trade. but the market will move in how the market wants to move. Nobody can predict the timing. You can only play the probability of it, right? So, that FOMO aspect of things, and I mean, it was alive and well during the GameStop era, and all these people that probably have no idea, like they've never traded the market before. They're all jumping into these things. Crypto, a lot of FOMO in the crypto world, things like that too. But yes, again, you could hit those big trades, but do you want to hit one trade and continue on life, or do you want to be consistent? Right? Is this something? I mean, right now you have, because you switched over to really being a full time trader. You now have more time for yourself, right? You have more time to do in life what you actually want to do. The only factor to that you have to continue to see that lifestyle is, can I make money as I'm living my lifestyle? The markets, I mean, realistically, if you're trading 2 hours a day in the morning, that's enough time to make your trades. Like that's the highest volatility. We'll be on, obviously the market's open all day, so we'll be looking at markets, going through swing setups later in the day, things like that, because the opportunities are still there. But you now have the freedom. A lot of people that start businesses, they're most of the time their number one reason is, I want to get more free time. When you have your own business, you end up working more than if you just had a 9 to 5 job. For the most
Right.
part, people that are in careers, and even if you're working for a bigger company and you're saying,
Yeah.
"Cool, I want to make more money." A lot of times with that more money comes more hours, more responsibility, and more things that you got to get done, and that gives you less time. Trading is one of the only few things, as far as I found, where you can make more money and actually have more free time. So it's a skill that it is tough. I mean, number one, learning the charts. How many hours did you say you back traded this weekend?
It was like, I don't know, most of my Sunday and I guess most of the afternoon on Saturday. I'm trying to get my 10,000 hours. That's basically what I'm doing. When I'm not back trading, I'm looking at the charts and trying to understand the analysis. And it's interesting. Doing that, like this weekend, there were two trades actually, Tesla and PayPal, that I had set up just as paper trades just to see if I would be correct, and both of them hit before the markets opened today. Like they both would have hit
Yeah.
their 1.2R. So that was pretty cool. So
Yeah,
I
it was
I,
it
I
was
know
yeah, you
I
sent me over those
know
trades.
yeah
They were both solid
yeah
trades, but market makers weren't letting you get into it, which
right
happens.
yeah
But the idea is not even to hit every trade; it's to understand what you're looking at, why you're looking at it, and why you think this would be a solid trade. So, yeah, both
yeah
of those, I was watching those today. I was like, yeah, it's trades over before the market even opened today. They're
yep yep.
not letting you play around. But what's the motivation as to why? Because a lot of people that come into trading, they'll put the work in, but you're putting in some serious work into the back trades, trying to hit the 10,000 hour goal. What is it that motivates you to want to wake up every day and be able to do that?
Oh, that's a good question. um, Well, I've always had the beginner mindset. I really have, and it really pushes me. I mean, heck, you even were asking me today that kind of things shifted in your world, and you'd asked me to come on here today, just today, and I mean, it's it's way outside my comfort zone, but I'm willing to jump in because I know that if I push myself, that I am going to be a better human over time. And as the years go on for me, it's like I continue to push it. I continue to make sure that what I do in life is at the 100% or 120%. I really just when I make a commitment, it's to not only be able to like make the money or make the trades, to hit the 1.2 R's, but it's also just that factor of life, and that I am enjoying what I'm doing with trading from the analysis side of it, but I'm more enjoying the community aspect and the idea of really centering my head. And like this morning, I mean, one of the things I did before I started trading is I did some burpees just to clear my head because I stayed up a little bit later than I normally do, but I wanted to be the best I could when I started this morning. So yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
much.
start waking up every day, having the right mindset, the right health aspect to not even mentally but physically as well. That will all play into to trades for sure.
Well,
I
it's
tell
I
people too,
want
like if
to.
you wake up,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, well, no, I was going to say, like talking to what you were saying about the health aspect. I actually track my health markers, and since I began with RLT, my HRV numbers actually have increased. They haven't been as high as they have been for a long time. So, I mean, it's. I would say that RLT is been a big player in continuing to improve my health. So yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I tell people like if they wake up because I would love to say everybody wakes up in a good mood all the time and their morning starts out great, but I mean I'm also a human being, so I know it's not how how it works. You wake up, kids are running late to school, you got a letter in the mail you didn't want to see, you got the first thing you do, you wake up, you look at your stock account, it's a down day, you just get all grumpy, like but now you're going to trade on a timely basis in the market. That take like all that takes a toll on you. So I the one that Jeremy says all the time, like you don't need to make money every single day in the market to make money trading and to be a successful, consistent, profitable trader. Like you don't have to. And a lot of people miss the point because they're so used to waking up, going to work every single day in order to make a paycheck, right?
Hmm.
But if you're waking up and you're not feeling that great, if you're not something just got you miserable, just don't trade the morning. Just stay away from the excitement because what will most likely end up happening, you're going to do something out of your norm of what the level-headed yourself would do, and then that will set you back further on your P&L for the month. And now you have to try to get that back, and now you're spiraling into a worse and worse mindset of just now I just need to be in something, I need to trade something. So I think the hardest thing is that the market is open from 9 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. It is so hard for people to say, "Cool, I lost enough or I made enough, and I'm done for the day." And I think if people could get that under control, a lot of them will be able to lock profits a lot further. They'll be able to take really only the best trades, be extra patient. But a lot of people they'll run into that. What was some of the what was some of the successes that you've had as far as like breakthrough moments?
Uh, well, I mean, some of the breakthrough moments were, I mean, I guess last week I had a rough week last week, and realizing that reaching out and asking for help is a healthy thing to do, and in doing so, it just is continuing to help me push myself with where I want to be with being a full-time trader, and it, what happened last week, it wasn't like I was like down lots and lots of R's, but it was more, I started to feel that that head game I was feeling myself just to kind of shift into more of a negative thought pattern, and I knew that I needed to reach out, ask for some help, and and luckily one of the RLT mentors was available, and I was able to back myself, back myself down a little bit, but also realize that, yeah, I mean, I've had success. There's been times where I've been in a trade, and I've never like I was in a Tesla trade when it basically hit an all-time high in March, which was kind of cool. I've never seen that happen before, and I mean, it's also, one of the successes that I've had is, uh, Johnny in the morning groups is, his son is actually going into the National Guard, and right now my son is looking into to going into the military, and I reached out to Johnny and he's like, "Oh, yeah, just have your son give me a call." And I mean, I keep coming back to that, but that human aspect of RLT, if you I mean, seriously, if you remove all the trading, at the end of the day, it's that human interaction that just drives me, and I see it all the time. And like this morning, you were on the mic this morning, and that was just a lot of fun being able to be there with other people. I had one guy direct message me and say sorry, that you jumped in on that trade with me, and I was like, hey, it's all good, it's part of it. So yeah, I mean,
Right.
I guess the big thing for me is just I love doing this and I love life, so I just want to continue. So
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just how do you progress the ball forward, right? So everybody is going to take losses in the market. Everybody could have a bad day, bad week. I mean, it happens, and I think reaching out to other people, especially people that have done it before, been there, been through it, like the some of the emotions might be new for you, but it's not new for others, right? So it's like it's very hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel sometimes. But when you zoom out on things, right? Because a lot of times we're as human beings, I think we're very short sighted. We need instant gratification. We need consistent profit every single trade we take. No matter what we do, we just need that little something that keeps us going. And if we lose sight of it and we start to get lost in our own shell a little bit, it becomes very tough to break out of that, right? And everything just gets worse and worse. Just even if it's not, it just seems like it is. Um, and we tend to lose the greater vision of what we're actually trying to accomplish, and understand that Rome's not built in a day. It does take time to really procure this type of lifestyle, this type of strategy, and do it consistently. So, I think that was a good move by reaching out to anybody in the community and saying, "Listen, this is what I'm going through. What do you think?" Or posting some of the trades in Slack. This way, you get the good, bad, delta, all that in with what to look out for and all that stuff. I think that helps us only progress. And we learn that yes, we're trading our own money, we're trading our accounts, we're trading our plans, but we're still trading it as a team. So everybody might vary, but there might be something that's in there that will either save you an R from a trade, that will make you some future Rs, or just maybe be able to correct that plan a little bit, tweak it a little bit so that you get more consistent results, or you're just waiting for another setup or indicator that you like best. So I think that's a strong move. The other question that we get a lot on the Pivot podcast, and I think you kind of have the luxury of being able to deal with that yourself. But I can guarantee you, there's people right now that either have a job, maybe not even to be a full-time trader, but maybe they want to start their own business. Uh, but again, they're in that 9 to 5 situation. You have that safety net. You have that income coming in every single week or month, whatever the case is, from depending on where you work. What how do you know it's time for you to say, I'm going to pull the cord and I'm going to try something new? Because that's a scary situation.
um, I think um, I've always run towards the fire, I guess is what I'm saying. That I've always been interested in just pushing the levels of myself, and where I can go in life. You know, I it's, so how do I how do I encourage somebody? I mean, it's more about trusting yourself. I mean, yeah, you've got a 9 to 5 job, you have bills. I mean, everybody has that, and you can't run away from the bills. They're going to still come in the mail, and yeah, I mean, you at that there'll become a point where the 9 to 5 job maybe you don't have to work as much, so maybe shaving a few hours off once you see some success in your trading. but I think ultimately, I mean, this is the thing about it. It's that mind shift or that change in the direction you're going. I mean, really, I mean, if you've been in your 9 to 5 job for 20 years, 30 years, that's a scary proposition to like get away from it or walk away, to step away from it. But it's at that same time, if you continue to be in the same way, the same place, as you go through life, it can wear you down, and that's where I feel like having a little bit of a challenge. I mean, that's the thing I always said. When I opened my CrossFit box is the day I stopped learning is the day I'd close the door and lock and turn the lights off, and it's so true. It's like I feel with trading is that I there's so much to learn. I'll never learn it all, and I can see that in Jeremy. He's continuing to evolve as a trader, and I really appreciated this. This last week on one of the afternoon rooms that he was talking directly about how he had lost R's for the month in March, but it wasn't stopping him from continuing to move forward. So if you feel like in your heart you're ready to jump in, then you know maybe you can't jump in all the way, but maybe making that first step towards taking a few hours, off your 9 to 5 job. So maybe stopping work or getting into work a little bit earlier, or taking a few days off. But I mean, it really is important, even from a new trader aspect, is that you've got to spend the time on your own and doing the learning, like knowledge base, like building your knowledge base. And before doing anything, you want to make sure that you've got some solid base to work from. And that's one of the things that I enjoy with RLT is that there is so much free content that, well, I mean, really, I could have just continued with the free content before I even, started in with the rooms. But what I'm saying is that the information, the knowledge that RLT is providing is so super helpful, and I'm excited for what's to come. So yeah, that's about it. That's what. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, I think that there's some element of fear of the unknown for a lot of people. I like what you say. I mean, you don't have to like obviously somebody that is single, that is working, he's got no other commitments but himself. It's easier to make that choice of saying, okay, I'm gonna just rip the cord and worst case, I'll figure it out. But when you start
yeah,
having responsibility, like you got real estate you own, you got uh, a spouse, you got kids that depend on you, like it does become more challenging to say like, all right, I'm going to try something new. But the one thing for me, like in 30 years from now, I don't ever want to look back on my life and be like, yeah, I was at that 9 to 5 job for the last 30 years. I wonder what else I could have done in life. Like, what else? What else did I actually? I know what I did in life, but what did I miss out on in life? Right. And I think that would be a greater fear for me than not trying something brand new at all. And like I said, honestly, we're all just a baby flea, right? We've
yeah,
only we as humans have limitless potential in any aspect of anything that we do. But if we only see ourselves doing what other people do, if we're in a group of friends and they're all at a certain level or doing something, you tend to do what they do, right?
yeah,
Until you start working yourself into a different group of people, a different group of friends, you're like, I didn't know this lifestyle existed. I didn't know this was a potential possible because you never experienced it before. So until we take that lid off the mayonnaise jar, we're not able to jump as people, right? So
right.
I think the community in a worst case uh inspires you to really go after what you actually want, and the only limitations that anybody really has on life is themselves, right? So I think that alone could help somebody grow as a person, and then you have all the stuff, the free content, how to trade. We give people as much as we can about the step by step. But again, like we said, that's only learning to trade is only part of it. It's that
Yeah.
mental thing. It's if you're trading and you're still not happy, there's probably something else in your life that is causing that. And once you try to figure that out, sort that out, figure out what you actually want to do in life, then actually the trading becomes easier because you're not so you're not coming into the market with such negative energy like you want to be there. You know that the market is a means to the end, but it's not the end, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest aspect of it. But we are just about out of time. Matt, appreciate you coming on and sharing
Yeah, for
your insight.
sure.
Even though I think you've been in the market for a shorter amount of time, I think
Yeah.
that's the exact appeal or demographic for a lot of people listening that are trying to figure out how to make that switch or what struggles people have when coming into the market. So I think um, I think you're an inspiration to a lot of people that are in between or on the fence, and I think that's solid. So again, appreciate you coming on to the Pivot Podcast.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Dan.